Most men don't lose their sex life after 60. They slowly abandon it, without even realizing it. It doesn't happen overnight. It starts with one skipped walk, a heavy dinner at 8 p.m., a few nights of poor sleep, and slowly, quietly, something changes. You don't talk about it. You don't even want to admit it to yourself, but deep down you know something feels different. You still love your partner, you still feel desire, but your body, it's no longer responding the way it used to. And a part of you starts to wonder, is this just aging? Is this the end of that part of my life? Here's the truth, it doesn't have to be. My name is Dr. Laura Bennett. I've spent over 25 years helping men over 60 reclaim their vitality and confidence. Naturally, without shame, without pills, and without gimmicks. Because your age doesn't define your manhood, but your habits, they just might. In this video, I'll show you 5 everyday habits that could be either saving your erections or slowly destroying them. And the surprising part? You're probably doing all 5 already, just the wrong way. Let's change that. Let's start now. Here's what I want you to hear, loud and clear. Erectile dysfunction is not a sentence handed down by your age. And no, it's not something you just have to learn to live with. You've been told it's normal. That after 60, you should expect things to slow down. That desire fades. That your body simply isn't built for intimacy anymore. But that's not the full story. Not even close. What if I told you that the real reason you're struggling isn't your age, but your habit? Simple, daily habits you've done for decades that were never meant to sabotage your manhood, but somehow they have. It's not your fault. No one taught you this part. No one warned you that the way you walk, eat, sleep, even how you hold your stress, could quietly be taking your vitality away. But here's the good news. Just as your habits helped create the problem, they can help you undo it. You don't need a prescription. You don't need to give up. You just need to begin. And that's exactly what we're about to do. Together. So let's begin. Not with a pill, not with a product, but with something much simpler. Your next step. Let me tell you about Tom. He's 68, retired, once a high school basketball coach. He used to walk like a man with a mission, fast, firm, always leading the pack. But when I met him, he shuffled into my office slowly, head slightly down, voice even lower. "Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore." He wasn't talking about pain. He was talking about what happens, or doesn't, behind closed doors. Tom still loved his wife, still desired her. But his body had started to betray him, and he felt like less of a man because of it. Now most men expect me to offer a prescription. But instead I asked him one unexpected question. "How fast do you walk?" He blinked, thought I was joking. But I wasn't. Because science now shows that your walking speed can reveal more about your sexual health than some lab tests. In fact, one recent study found that men who increase their walking pace by just 1 kilometer per hour without changing anything else had a 76% lower risk of erectile dysfunction. That's not a small difference. That's transformation. Why? Because walking briskly doesn't just get you from point A to B, it pumps blood upward, strengthens your heart, and supports healthy circulation to your pelvis, your legs, your core, your lower back. They all work together to power blood flow where it matters most. So, I told Tom, start small, but walk with purpose. Not like you're browsing at the store, like you've got somewhere important to be. He did. 2 weeks later, he emailed me, just one sentence. "I feel like a man again." You don't need a gym, you don't need an app, you just need a decent pair of shoes, and the decision to show up for yourself. And once you do, something powerful happens. Your body listens, your blood responds, your confidence returns. So, if you're ready to take back control, maybe the first place to start isn't the bedroom. Maybe it's right outside your front door. So I asked him, "Have you ever trained your pelvic floor?" He blinked. "You mean Kegels? I thought that was just for women." That's the myth, and it's costing men their confidence every single day. You see, there are two key muscles in your pelvic floor, the bulbocavernosus and ischiocavernosus. And they are directly responsible for maintaining erections. Tom had started walking with purpose, and life began flowing back through his body. But for Harold, 72, that wasn't enough. He came to me looking both hopeful and frustrated. "I've changed my diet. I walk every day now, but things still don't work like they used to. It's like the connection just isn't there." I could hear the weight behind his words. Harold wasn't looking for perfection. He was looking to feel like a man again. It takes less than 10 minutes. No one sees you do it. No equipment. No excuses. 3 weeks later, Harold was a different man. He walked into my office with a grin and said, "Doc, I woke up with morning wood for the first time in years. I honestly forgot what that felt like. That smile, that was strength returning. Not just in his body, but in his spirit. They work like tiny internal clamps. They hold blood inside the penis during arousal and help create that strong, rigid feeling you remember. But just like any other muscle, when they go unused, they weaken." So I gave Harold a simple routine. Each morning, while brushing his teeth, do 10 slow, focused contractions. Squeeze like you're trying to stop the flow of urine. Hold for 5 seconds. Relax. Repeat. You don't need to scream it from the rooftops. You don't even have to tell your partner, but when you reclaim these forgotten muscles, your body remembers who you are. It's subtle, it's private, but it's powerful. Because sometimes the most important strength doesn't come from the outside. It comes from reconnecting with the core of who you are. Harold had rediscovered strength from within, not through willpower, but through simple, consistent effort. And yet for Richard, 66, something still wasn't clicking. He wasn't eating junk. He took his walks. He did his morning contractions. But when it came time for intimacy, it felt like the spark was there, but the engine didn't start. "It's frustrating," he told me. "I want to, but my body doesn't seem to respond. Like I'm there mentally, but physically, nothing." So I asked him about something most men never think twice about. "What time do you usually eat dinner?" He paused. Usually 7:30, sometimes later." "Why?" That simple answer unlocked everything. You see, timing matters just as much as what you eat. Heavy meals late in the evening don't just make you sluggish. They spike your insulin, suppress your testosterone, and interfere with nitric oxide production, the key molecule that allows your blood vessels to expand and send blood to the right places. Your body shifts into storage mode, not performance mode. So I gave Richard one change. Shift your largest meal to lunchtime. Keep dinner light and early, before 6:30. Simple. 2 weeks later, I got a voicemail. "Doc, I don't know if it's the food or the timing or both, but I finally feel like myself again. I didn't realize how much dinner was messing with everything." His wife noticed too, because when your blood sugar levels stay balanced and your hormones remain steady, your body becomes more responsive. Desire flows into performance, not frustration. Here's what most men miss. You don't need to cut out all your favorite foods. You just need to stop feeding your body when it's trying to rest. Let your evenings be about recovery, not digestion. Let your hormones rebuild, not crash, and give your body a fighting chance to rise, in more ways than one. So the next time you plan dinner, ask yourself, do I want to feed my hunger or fuel my manhood? Richard's shift in meal timing restored more than his energy. It reignited his drive. But Dennis, at 70, still felt like something was off. He was sharp, thoughtful, still working part-time as an accountant. He didn't drink, he walked daily, but when I asked him about his mornings, his response was telling. I wake up tired, he said. Not exhausted, but just never refreshed. And I can't remember the last time I had a morning erection. He wasn't complaining, he was concerned, quietly, like many men his age. So we ran a sleep study. The results? Mild sleep apnea. His oxygen levels dipped at night. His brain micro-woke multiple times. No deep sleep. No hormone recovery. No testosterone surge. Because here's what many people forget. Erections don't begin when you get aroused. They begin at night, in your deepest sleep, when your body silently rehearses and repairs. Sleep is when your testosterone is produced. It's when your nervous system resets. It's when your vascular system recovers or collapses. So Dennis made changes. He got a CPAP machine. He cut screens an hour before bed. No wine after dinner. He started going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. 3 weeks in, his voice was lighter. Doc, he smiled. I didn't realize how tired I'd been. It's like someone turned the lights back on in my body. And yes, the mornings have changed too. Sometimes, the missing link isn't something you do during the day, but what happens when you're asleep. So if you're doing all the right things, but still feel like something's missing, look at your nights. Not all fatigue is physical. Not all erectile issues are blood flow. Sometimes your body is simply begging for rest. It's never truly getting. Start with one change tonight. Go to bed earlier, shut off the TV, and let your body heal. In the dark, where no one sees, but everything begins. Dennis found healing in the dark while he slept. But Alan, 74, was facing a different kind of silence. He came in after months of hesitation, not because of physical pain, but something more invisible. My wife and I, we still care deeply about each other, he said quietly. But every time things start to get close, I freeze. I feel like I have to perform, and if I can't, I shut down completely. He looked away as he spoke. There was shame there, but also longing. Longing to be close, to feel connection without the fear of failing. This is something I see more often than you might imagine. Because for many men, the real barrier to intimacy isn't blood flow. It's performance pressure, the silent expectation that you must deliver, succeed, satisfy every time. And when you don't, it chips away at your confidence, so you begin to avoid the very thing you crave most, closeness. I asked Alan to try something different. No goals, no expectations, just spend time with his wife, holding hands, talking, laying together. Touch for the sake of touch. Closeness for the sake of comfort. For the first time in years, he said, we were close. And I didn't panic. I didn't feel like I had to prove anything. I just felt connected. And with that safety, something shifted. His body began responding again, naturally, effortlessly, without pressure. You see, when a man feels safe emotionally, his body often follows. Because true intimacy doesn't start in the body, it starts in the mind. So if you've been pulling away not because you don't want intimacy, but because you're afraid of what might not happen, maybe it's time to let go of the pressure, reconnect without expectations, and rediscover that being close, really close, isn't about performance, it's about presence. You've just witnessed 5 men, 5 different stories, but in many ways they were all telling your story too. Tom, who simply walked faster and began to feel strong again. Harold, who found power in quiet morning contractions and woke up with new life. Richard, who changed one meal and saw energy and desire return. Dennis, who healed while sleeping and finally woke up feeling whole. And Alan, who let go of pressure and finally reconnected with what truly matters: closeness. Each of them began with a quiet frustration, a sense of something missing, and each of them took one small step and kept going. No pills, no surgeries, just new habits, new hope, and the willingness to show up for themselves. So now, the question is, what will your first step be? Maybe it's putting on your shoes and going for a 10-minute walk. Maybe it's shifting your dinner a little earlier tonight. Maybe it's sitting beside your partner without pressure, just presence. Whatever it is, start today. Then tomorrow, do it again. Not for performance, not for perfection, but for you. Because you're not too old, you're not too late, and you are definitely not alone. Your story isn't finished, it's just entering a new chapter. And it can be a chapter of healing, connection, and quiet power. If this message touched something inside you, let me know in the comments. I'm still here, and I'm not done yet. And if you're ready for more, in our next video, we'll explore